What if a phone rings every year on the same date? At the same exact time, and that date is the death anniversary of its owner? Is it a warning or something far darker? This is a whisper from history where forgotten voices rise again. The old telephone sat in the corner of the dimly lit apartment. Its receiver yellowed with age, and its cord tangled like the lives it had silently observed for decades. Each year on the same date at the same hour it rang without fail, and no one knew why. The first time it rang, the tenant had been startled, her hands trembling as she lifted the receiver and heard nothing but the faint echo of breathing. It was a whisper that seemed to come from the walls themselves, a sound that made her blood run cold. Neighbors whispered about the previous owners, a family that had vanished mysteriously one night, leaving the apartment untouched, as if time itself had frozen in that space. The father had been a telephone repairman known for his meticulous work and his obsessive note taking about every device he ever touched. Some said he had tried to capture the voices of the dead, a pursuit that had driven him to the brink of madness. But why would a phone ring only once a year, and only for those who had passed? Each ringing was different, sometimes soft, almost hesitant, other times sharp and demanding, like a warning. The tenants reported feeling a presence, the room growing colder and shadows stretching along the walls in impossible angles. Some tried to trace the calls, but the line led nowhere, a loop that ended in static and silence. It was as if the telephone was waiting for someone to answer a question no one dared ask. What stories had it recorded that could never be forgotten? A historian once visited examining the device with skepticism, but even he could not deny the pattern. Decades of death anniversaries, marked by the same metallic ring. Some nights he swore he heard voices, arguing, pleading, as if reliving their final moments over and over. The records showed small tragedies, accidents, illnesses, secrets of lives that ended too soon. But was it merely coincidence, or had some unseen hand bound the phone to the living and the dead? The residents who had lived there swore it changed. People, some becoming withdrawn, staring at the clock as the fateful hour approached. Others became frantic, trying to warn the next occupant, but the moment came and went, and the ringing started anew. It was not a curse, nor a gift. It was a bridge, a messenger that demanded acknowledgement of life and death without compromise. Over the years, the phone became a legend whispered across the city, yet no one dared touch it, except when the date arrived. Each year, the anticipation hung heavy, and the room seemed to breathe with secrets. The truth of why it rang remained elusive yet undeniable as history itself. It waited silently for the living to confront the echoes of those who had passed, leaving questions in its wake that no one could answer completely. When the phone screen flashed for the last time, the room fell into a silence so deep it felt like every breath had frozen in the air. And in that moment, you realize some stories never truly end. They simply wait for the right time to reveal themselves once again, maybe next year, the same hour, the same date, and another person chosen to carry the weight of this silent call. And then you understand some calls are not meant to be heard, they are meant to be felt. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.